Is this working? Mic check, mic check. Checking around. Nope, that's not the right signal. Hold on. Let's see. Past streams, home. Our production should be here. Mic check, mic check. Are we in? Okay, cool. Sounds like we're in. Okay, let me just punch my signal here real quick, and we'll be hopping to it here in a hot second. We're working on the 8th level Eberron adventure. That's going to be published on DMsGuild. You know, when it's done. Me and Andy Good Healy, we're building an adventure in Karnath regarding a manifest zone to the plane of Mabar that's causing some local issues, and once the heroes get involved, hilarity ensues. So not your typical Eberron, I guess. We'll see. Maybe it will be your typical Eberron. Maybe it's supposed to be, but it's kind of out of our headspace. How we look at it's an interesting logic pathing exercise on how to create choices inside of an adventure that allows DM the freedom to make changes to the adventure and adapt what is going to happen in a published adventure, despite of what the players do. So that's kind of the objective, is to create a free space and to make life easier on the DM that wants an adventure set up that's going to be that they can adapt and use over and over again and still feel like it's new to the DM while introducing it to new players as well. So I guess I were to say it's kind of built for a more professional DM that anticipates having a scenario that they can run over and over again. So that has a lot of different hooks and different angles of approaches challenges in different ways, whether they're combat, exploration, or social. So all the encounters are being built to have that adaptive environment. Like, there's obviously combat encounters, but there's also exploration and social challenges to get around to the different parts of the adventure and to approach challenges in different ways. Like, if you want to get into a fortress, there's different paths you can take to get into there, and different challenge different pillars of challenge to take to succeed at the path that you've chosen. So that's kind of rambly, but right now I am working on asset production for there's a lot of different type of plants and creatures that we've created that are native to Mabar that are spilling into the material world. That will have basically this is some of the rough text from that's pre-edit that's going to be going into an appendix. So we figured we have like a description of the text, like a description of what it is, and then we have a picture of it. We have a picture of what this is, and then a picture of this. And these are obviously a lot bigger than the assets will need to be in the end, but we wanted to make sure that there was plenty of pixels in the space, so it looks good when it gets shrank down to the appropriate thumbnail size. So right now we are working on, let's see, we resolved. Let's stop rambling and get on into it. Hey, welcome back to you. Just started, so if you're looking to get involved in the front, you're right on time. Let's see. Is this the... I'm still a little rough around here, so... Let's see. Morge. Let's see. So we resolved that. We resolved that. That's ugly. Check. Cool. Okay, so now we're down to emerald tops. It's prevalent fungus found all around the plague mists. Plague mist is this mustard gassy sort of effect that happens when the plane of Mabar starts to dissolve normal plant life in the material world. You have your manifest zone, and as it flares, it infects the area, and it starts to melt down and decompose normal matter, and it turns into this mustard gassy sort of effect that can poison people or cause other sorts of issues. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about plague mist. Hey, spoilers! But everybody that's playtesting knows that there's spoilers here. So if you're part of my playtest team, realize that you're losing out on some of the mystique by checking in. So there's a prevalent fungus that's found all around the plague mists. It grows almost anywhere any plague mist exists. They have short, thick stems with a large emerald cap. They carry a strong scent of rust, also sometimes mistaken for dried blood. An adventurer proficient with an herbalism kit can spend an hour to pass a DC 15 Wisdom Medicine skill check to produce a serum that will reduce one plague mark after consuming it. Failing a skill check will make a potion with no more medicinal purposes. However, to create one vial of the antitoxin requires nearly 5 pounds of the fungus. Okay, so we're going to start there. Plague marks is a tracking tool that we have inside this adventure. The longer you spend inside the plague mist, the worse life becomes for you. There's a lot of ways to purge it, but if you just let it sit on you, it's going to end up being really, really bad for you, especially if you get involved in combat. So it's a fun little gotcha that DMs can throw on you, and you can be kind of arbitrary about applying marks to people, but there's a table in the adventure that kind of sets up like in this area you can acquire plague marks at this rate of acquisition and blah blah blah. So there's mechanics behind the plague marks, and then there's different areas are more like the closer you get to the center of the manifest zone, the worse it gets. So you accrue them quicker and quicker, and they become more and more detrimental. But right now I am putting down, that is the wrong kind of texture. Let's see what I want to do. I'm going to go with, let's go with a coral clump. No, coral clump. See how slow that's moving? It's because there's a high pixel. It's like a high pixel density inside of this brush. It's not just a round brush. It's when you zoom in on it, it gets really complicated. So pushing pixels with that is no good. So we're going to switch to my cloud. Here's a cloud brush. That's just basically a bunch of circles and more. It's a number of different. It's layered opacities all stacked on top of each other, so that like you can see like when I push, like if I push fast, you can see like these little bumps. Yeah, that's a good example. See how textured that shadow is, and like how there are all these lines and breaks in it. That exists inside of here, but you can't see it because they're all at anywhere from 20 to 80% opacity, so it looks like a single lump. But when you actually get inside that space, it's layered different transparencies that work over each other. And I normally use it as a cloud brush, I can do wispy cloud. Like Bob Ross is my patron saint. So most of the brushes I build are intended to duplicate Bob Ross paintings, but I'll use it most of the time. Like the cloud brush is a big go-to that I use for landscape and environment texture stuff like this. When I'm just laying down a patch or something, I'll often use this brush because of the amount of opacity that it has and the low pixel volume. It is really good at pushing pixels without slowing down my CPU for processing. So I'm gonna make that brush bigger and then drop the opacity down so I can just fade this muck in. See, this is just spot art. Spot art is like little vignettes, like they're called vignettes when they're just little pieces that don't have set borders, that they're like you can see, like I have rough edges here, and it just sits on whatever page color is underneath it. It's a vignette. So a lot of spot art is built in the vignette sort of format, and so I am leaning into that here. Some of my pieces, if you click on my link below and check out the books that I have on DMsGuild, all those previews, you can read the entire book without buying it, because I figure when I was a kid, when I was 12 years old and I started playing D&D, it was still first edition back in the 80s, and I would go to B. Dalton Bookstore. It was my favorite thing to do was to go to the mall, go to B. Dalton Bookstore, take the most recent Dungeon Magazine, Dragon Magazine, or the newest release from TSR, and just go back in the kids section and sit down and read the book. And when I could finally afford it, I would buy it, or I would ask for it for my birthday. And the manager never gave me any static. The staff was always cool with me being there. But I would go to the bookstore and I would thoroughly read a book before I purchased it. And I believe that I wanted to, I don't know, I guess I kind of wanted to pay it forward. So all the books that I publish on DMsGuild are 100% preview. You can read them all. You can be that kid in the bookstore getting inspiration, and it made me a lifelong gamer. It made me a lifetime customer. So I absolutely think that paying it forward and helping inspire future generations of what I'm producing, inspired by what TSR produced so long ago, is proper. It's the proper attitude to have. Hey Matt, how you doing, man? I am feeling a little nostalgic this morning, and I'm just building a little clump of ground here. Let's take a look at what that description is again. Jomp. Emerald tops. Fungus. Let's see. Everywhere. Mistaken. Adventure. Persistent. Let's see. They have short, thick stems with a large emerald cap. They carry a strong scent of rust. So I'm going to take a quick tangent over here and look at emerald mushrooms. Oh my god, could this be like perfect? I don't know. I don't know if that's perfect or not. I don't see color, so I won't know until I'm done looking, until I import the piece, if this is going to be something that's going to work for me or not. So this is how colorblind people figure out how to do color. They grab images that they think might be useful, they then steal them and import them. So copy image, and why are you not? What is going on here, yo? I'm going to... Are we copying an image here, or aren't we? There's something wonky. Oh, it's downloading. I see what's going on. That's freaking weird. Why would it do that? There we go. Let's just do it this way then. Copy image. No, that's the image address. Copy image. There we go. There's my room. What am I in my room? Let's see. Let's grab some more. Get the heck out of here. Blurp. Block. Let's see. That's a brooch. That's not even real. Ooh, this. Ooh. Maybe this will be useful. And let's see, let's find one more thing. That is not real, so that doesn't count. Ooh. Maybe that is legit. Okay, I think that's probably enough assets. So let's scoop those up and take a look. Thanks, Eric. Oh no, coffee! Give me a hot second. My coffee is done. I love grabbing assets and making paintings out of them. When I was 5 years old, I used to play with Legos, making castles back in 1979, 1980, 84. From like basically 4 to 8 Sunday mornings were me sitting in the family room, making Lego castles, watching Bob Ross paint, and it was just soothing. It was so relaxing, and I didn't realize that I would eventually take him seriously as like a patron saint of productivity. But he's my guy. So most of my techniques got built that way. Okay, so I got the color meter up here in the corner next to my face, and I'm now using my color picking tool to see what this thing looks like. This is apparently a bright red. I can tell it's bright red. So that is not emerald on Akshaktabar. But what about this? This is not seemingly very emerald. So what about this? Is this the kind of green that I know? Well, let's make sure I know. Let's go back to our color assets here and color emerald. There's a shade of green that is light and bright with a faint bluish cast. So I reckon color image. There we go. See, that is emerald. It's green with a light blue cast, which is overwhelming. It's green is my highest spike, red is my lowest, blue is somewhere almost dead middle between. No, it's not. It's a little reddish. It's a little towards red than green, but it's pretty midpoint. So that is something I can shrink down. So yeah, Bob Ross helped me fall in love with painting nature. Reddit's kind of popped up asking me for my brush set. So I think I'm going to have to figure out how to export my, I guess they're ASP files. I don't know what the file type is, but yeah. I'll figure out how to export that stuff, and then I'll probably post it on Patreon or something. I need to set. I have a Patreon account, but currently I think it's just like, you know, buy some landscape for me for $250. I think that's all I've done with it. I want to set up like you know, feed the artist for $1, and then start putting all my stock art up there for licensing. I'm just gonna start here. What does it say? It says proficient to have short, thick stems with a large emerald cap. Okay, thick stems and emerald cap. So I'm gonna go with a whitish stem since it doesn't specify that I can't. And then I'm going to go with emerald cap, and then I can dip into these colors here for texture. So that's where we'll start. We'll just make one at first, and then we'll see. I want to use a stronger opacity than that. No, like 80. I think that's where I'm at. So about a year or so, I started building a toolkit, an adventure toolkit. Like the hubris behind this is horrible. Basically, like how to build an adventure, and I didn't intend for it to start off as a building guide, but that's what it evolved into over time. It originally started off as a bunch of random tables on creating villains and plot lines and complications, and kind of like some of those random encounter, like the solo adventure things that kind of like allow you to DM for yourself. It kind of started there, and it kept evolving. And what it evolved to at this point was, let's take some of these random ideas, some of these random tables, and use them to build the what is it? A core, like an event, like a nugget, an adventure nugget to build an adventure out of. And then from there, it started to continue to evolve into, well, okay, so if you're going to build an adventure, you need to think about plot progression, like why is the villain doing what they're doing? What is their in-state condition that allows them to retreat and still have success? Where do they get to that's like a lost defeat for them? How are they going to respond to that? What's your hero's steps from moving from becoming aware of the adventure, like your plot hook, into the meat of the adventure? Like it became like this progression, like how to logically move through an adventure design space to go from, hey, I got a team that wants to play D&D, I can just like random up some stuff and have at it, into like, well, wait a second, what's the stuff I actually need to think about to make that work? And then through all that process, it's become a sprawling 60-page document on kind of like it's like an adventure design toolkit. And so what ended up happening here is that I got really far into the production of the book, and I got to a point where I'm like, I'm talking about like the pillars of adventure, of like when to have social encounters versus combat encounters versus exploration, and it conceptually it's pretty straightforward, but it's the specific details that really kind of get to you. So it was like, well, you know what? I'm not really going to be able to prove that what I'm talking about works and is applicable, and I'm just gonna sound like a jerk if I produce this book, because who the hell am I? And it doesn't matter that I've been a DM for 30 years. I haven't produced any adventures. I don't publish adventures. I publish character options and artwork. So it's pretty cocky for me to say, hey, here's kind of an omnibus on building adventures. So the decision became, well, if I'm going to actually do this, I better damn well have an adventure to prove my point. So this Crystals of Mabar is a random adventure that was created from the toolkit that I built, and I hooked up with Andy, and Andy does Cthulhu stuff, so this felt like a really natural fit to work with him. And he's like, yeah, I'm interested in Eberron. I want to get into this, and if this is something that you're going to do, it's an excuse for me to research and get a better feeling for Eberron through the process of us building this adventure together. And what ends up happening is we build a kick-ass adventure that it's like 75% done. So I'm starting to build assets for it while we finalize some of the room details and stuff like that. And I'm going to be running my third play test next week, and I'll have a total of I think 5 or 6 play tests just to make sure that my logic pathing is correct. from one section of the adventure to the next, and to confirm that I'm right on how players are going to just naturally move from one area to the next. And so far I have been. It's so the decision was, well, we're going to make this random adventure. And now when I start talking in the toolkit about decision making, like, is this a social encounter? Is this a combat encounter? And all the yada yada. We can then make this. It'll be for sale, probably like $7 or something like that. But it'll be like all my other stuff, 100% preview. So, which is odd for an adventure, but it's a proof of concept. Like, I will be able to use the toolkit and say, check out Crystals of Mabar, page 32, and you can see the decision-making tree of where the characters are going to move through this forest towards these different dungeon areas. Like, this is how you plot your adventure to keep control of where your characters go from moving to an area you want them to versus an area you don't want them to move to yet. And so there'll be this adventures is literally like the examples in the toolkit of like how to do this, like how to use this toolkit to build an adventure. And just for fun, here's an adventure we built using that toolkit, and that's what I'm currently illustrating here. That tool, that example adventure. So it got so heady. It's like, God, it's so difficult for me to try to create a hypothetical situation of like, here are some random NPCs that are probably going to want to kill you. Here's how you can talk about fighting them. Here's how you can talk about outsmarting them through exploration. Here's how, or like investigation and observation. And here's a way for you to use social skills to get out of a fight. And it's like, it's going to take me like 2 or 3 pages just to explain the scenario to make like a 3-sentence point. So it's like, screw it. Let's just make an adventure. So I can say, hey, here's page 32. See how these soldiers are trying to kill your characters for going through these woods? Here's how you can approach that. If you want to make this a social encounter, you can blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, 3 or 4 sentences later, I'm done with the point and I can move on. But I can continue to refer back to this document that I'm building here with Andy. And then, of course, you got the toolkit, which is probably like, $7-10 or something like that. And then you bundle it with this adventure as its example piece. And so you can get, the two of them separated might be like $17, but you can get them together for 10. And so everyone gets a cut, and I proved my point. So that's, oh my God, long story short, way too late. Sorry about that random pathing there, guys, but that's where this is all coming from. So that is where this came from. This is why this adventure exists. But beyond that, once this adventure exists and the toolkit is published, I could literally come on stream, grab a fistful of dice, throw them, go through the charts, and say, okay, here's the random encounter that we just created. Like here's all the different elements of adventure that were provided for this random roll. What would that look like? And then I can just like live stream spitballs about building like an ad hoc adventure. Like ad hoc adventuring is way different from, oh my God, I actually painted on the same layer. I gotta take that back. Ad hoc adventuring is super different from published adventures, because published adventures have to be polished. It has to do all these things, like have the assets and the map built, and you have to have all the logic pathing figured out so you know the damn thing actually works and you're not wasting the DM's time with situations that you haven't thought through that end up screwing everything up. You have to go through those details to make sure it actually works. So that's a lot. And that's why you see a lot of really short like encounters as opposed to like adventures. And unfortunately, adventures don't really pay really well. They typically have a price point of like around $3 to $7, depending on how big they are. I mean, like NT Black has got entire campaigns that he sells for like $50. and that will like take you from level 1 to 16. So it's like they are big affairs, and they're not very profitable to actually build adventures, but they're fantastic marketing vehicles to get a point across, to guide someone into your headspace, to say, hey, here's stuff that I'm designing, stick around, which is exactly what I'm trying to do here. It's like, this toolkit can be super useful for you. Here's a polished, published adventure that you could use this toolkit to do, but we're just gonna spitball. Like, I just want to play some popcorn D&D tonight. I just want to drink some beer and have some fun. Let's just random up some bullshit and just throw dice around for a couple hours. But I don't want to have to break my brain on this. So make it easy on me. It's like the toolkit. It's like like when you walk through the toolkit, you'll have like a good, like, rough idea of how can I build something that makes sense, that has logic, that's internal logic. I'm thinking about pacing. I'm recognizing pitfalls of where I'm going to end up wasting everyone's time with just stupid stuff that does not matter to the adventure at all, but here we are. Like, how to get out of that stuff, how to blast through it so that you can keep moving on with the adventure, how to separate challenges into the different pillars, yada, yada, yada. And then, ultimately I want to get away from doing large production pieces. These are things I call flagships, which are products that you publish on the DMsGuild that allow you to create thousands and thousands of iterations of smaller pieces, like the 5-color mana spell point systems I built. The end result, and I'm still not done with all the components that are going to be published to that, but the end state of that, which I'll hopefully get to by the end of this year, the end state of that is to have a comprehensive color mana system that you can use with all 13 classes, that I can then stop building mana mechanics, and I can instead just grab a random card from Kaldheim or Urza or Strixhaven, and it's like, okay, here's a character card. Let's design this as a character class. Here's page 13, 27, 45, and the other book, which you can find online, like page 13 and 45. Let's grab those components and let's build a character. And then I build out something unique, and it probably wouldn't be something I would like actually publish on the DMsGuild, but that's not the point. The point is to come on stream and build stuff and have fun and screw around. So, boy, I'm rambly today. I'm hoping that's not too much of a bother to folks. But this is kind of how I get sometimes. And this is me being excited and motivated about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Keep going. I published a book called Theurgy, which is like NPCs using ability checks to cast magic that's way beyond their capabilities, and we provided a toolkit to basically create ad hoc rituals for players that wanted to do something during their downtime. That would have a positive net result for them. It's like, I don't want to blow a spell slot casting locate object, but I can cast a ritual that's going to take an hour during our downtime. And when the fighter is done regaining his maneuvers, we're ready to go with a spell that's active. So let's go use that. I've saved my spell slot, but I did something productive during my downtime while other people on our team use their downtime more productively. So it's not only an NPC tool to like explain why is there a demon attacking the city. Well, some dumbass got his hands on a ritual and now he's destroying the world. It's like, well, that's a great player motivator. We got to go save the world. I'm like, let's save the world. But it also provides tools for the players to make use of their resources. But the end state of that is, as a standalone toolkit book, you can now use Theurgy magic in your campaign at any time. So, like, I have a Theurgy ritual in this adventure. Like, here's an example of an NPC doing something horrible to the world to summon a manifest zone, and now the players have to stop them. Spoiler! To any of my players, I already warned you, my playtesters, if you show up here, I'm going to spoil the adventure. So stay away until after the playtests. But yeah, it's the things that I build that are on the DMs Guild are things that you can reference. Like in the adventure for the DMs, like, hey, if you want to learn more about building these crazy rituals to do these things, check out Theurgy. And then, you know, it's and then I give them a discount, bundling it with the book. So thank you. I ramble so good. Get on board this crazy train. I appreciate the generosity and the kind words. Yeah, that feels right. Here and there we go. I can grab this emerald color and I can come over here and I can drop down color. I can drop its value so it looks more like shadow. That's the word those are the words I'm trying to use. Later on today, I am going to be doing character art. This is a low production day for me. Like I'm technically on vacation today, but I'm going to do a couple hours at my job, work from home. And then I'm going to finish and exit for the day and jump back on stream to do character art commission that I've been streaming in the evening. I'm going to spend a good chunk of my day today working on that. I am also going to be doing a page turner through the most recent book that I published, Elemental Key. I've been wrestling with a quick presentation on like summarizing how the concept of magic paradigms, like instead of using the 8 schools of magic from D&D proper, elemental magic, like the 4 elements of key, versus the 5 color magic paradigm. These are different ways of approaching magic in your game, but they aren't options that Wizards has introduced. This is something that we've had to come up on our own, and that's where a lot of my design. Oh wow, I'm pretty freaking pleased with this mushroom. Hold on for a second. Let me. I don't plan or like kind of know what the hell I'm doing when I paint. Sometimes I have an idea, but most of the time it's all random. Like I have this muse that sits in my heart, and she, when I get rambly or when I stop paying attention to myself, she kind of takes the wheel and produces stuff. And at some point, I just accept that I'm a passenger in this process, and I get to watch it come into existence the same as anyone that shows up for the stream gets to watch it. So, like, I didn't know this was going to look like this. I knew I needed to do a mushroom, and I know I had a picture reference, but I didn't know what the process would be to actually produce it. I didn't know how it would turn out. I just get to watch it happen. So, in a lot of these streams, I am as much of an audience as I am the pen, and that's incredibly satisfying to me. Especially like when when I shut up and stop rambling for a second and look, it's like, oh wow, that's really cool. It's like that's me legitimately realizing that I just did a thing, but it wasn't me. It was the muse. So I am damn near convinced that that artists that live are going through some sort of a process where they learn to lose control and hand over that control to a higher power as some sort of rite of passage to gain access to higher levels of intuition so they can be muses themselves someday in a future life. It's a weird philosophy and it's a little crazy, but oddly rooted in Catholicism. So that's my Catholic upbringing, telling me that I am an angel in training, and the type of angel that I will be someday is an artistic muse sent here to learn the process of being inspired so that I will know how to inspire myself someday. So that's a pretty badass mushroom. I am thrilled with that. Thanks, Eric. Oh my god, I love that. Okay, so what this means is I need to push out this patch a little bit more. Where? I'm going to grab this chisel. This chisel is pretty good at pushing pixels too. You can see that wavy effect that it does. See how it does that pulsing thing? It's because the amount of pixels that are being pushed are faster than my CPU can process. But this brush has none of that. Like I was talking earlier, this cloud brush I have has zero lag. I also don't know what color that is in comparison to this one. Like if they're the same. Oh no, they're. Yeah, see, like the ground has a different color profile. It has the green and blue higher than the red, while the mushroom cap has red and green higher than the blue. Even if they were the same value, I know that your eye would still be able to pick up the color difference because of the tilting of the RGB balance. I don't have that benefit. I can only see gray, so I can't tell when I'm building something like this if the value is too close. I can't tell the difference between red or green, you know? Like, it looks the same to me because the value is the same. It's the same level of gray. So I'm always having to keep an eye on my color meter over here and try to figure out, is this something that you're going to be able to, ooh, this is cool. Is this something that you, as an audience member, are going to be able to pick up on? And if it is, then I know that my muse is guiding me in the right direction. So I don't know. I think her name is. I like to think that her name is Azariel, but that's only because I'm a D&D fan. I don't know what her real name actually is. But she sits in my heart and she whispers to me that I'm doing a good job. There. Just tossing down a little texture into the environment. Just, help make that mushroom pop out. You color people, you let me know. That mushroom stands out pretty good against this background. Is that true? Coffee time. Before the coffee, gotta drink coffee. Cool. Well, that's just the first one. So I'm gonna. What time is it? 7:15. Crap. I got 45 minutes until I need to pay my pound of flesh to the man. So I'm gonna see, now that I built this first mushroom, and I had to go through all the painstaking process of doing that, I should be able to punch through a bunch more with relative ease. Let's see what relative ease ends up looking like, shall we? Scribble, scribble, scribble. Love this. So once the mushrooms are into effect, I'll know what negative space exists between the mushrooms. I can then use that to fill in like moss like this. I can build moss where the stuff is sitting inside of. So think the description was short and stocky. Let's look. Emerald tops. They're short, thick stems with large emerald caps. I don't think that cap qualifies as large enough, so I'm going to blurp, 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 blurp. Come in here and blah, 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 bigger. I have decided that the new bots that started showing up in streams, chat streams on YouTube, that they are albatrosses of sorts. I think albatrosses are supposed to be bad omens, but I've decided that bots are good omens, and that they are a clue. They are a clue that that your stream is going well. Because you can't stop them. They're infinite. And if you tear one down, another one pops up because they're machine generated. So you'll never be able to stop them. You just have to embrace them. And so if your stream is running long enough or is getting pinged by likes, or not even, I'm not getting any likes right now. Like and subscribe and share, yo. But the thought is that if your presence is long or notable enough online, that the bots start to show up because they think that they can fish link clicks off of your participants and viewers. So when bots start showing up on your stream, it's a good sign that your stream is gaining momentum and interest from people, even though you might not see it yourself. The bots are predicting that you are going to be a success. So I bless you and thank you, your presence, machine gods, and our bot overlords, to gift me with your shit links. There we go. Oh my god, that feels so good. That feels so good. I love that. All right, back on task. Now that I've cleaned up that little piece of reality, I can spill further into this one. I have these upstairs neighbors. I'm in an apartment complex. I'm on the ground floor. And I have these upstairs neighbors, and they're constantly making my roof, my ceiling lights rattle, and it used just to make me so angry until I realized, oh, they're exercising and they're healthier than I am. They're in much better shape than I am. So I'm starting to get on board. I won't stop midstream, but when I'm having a normal, like when it's a normal work week where I'm not, where I'm putting in my 8 hours of phone and computer time, they want us to take breaks so that we don't burn out and stuff like that. So I've decided when my ceiling starts shaking, it's because people healthier than I am are telling me that this is a time when healthy people do healthy things. So I'll do calisthenics like push-ups and squats or stair climbs and stuff like that. And I'll just try to keep up with them. And I can't. They're much healthier than I am. But it's a fun little way that because God, it enraged me because I couldn't control it. It just triggered the hell out of me for the first month or two that I was here. And now I've gotten on board with, no, this is an odd blessing that I have failed to recognize as an opportunity for me to be healthier and stronger as a result of where I now live. And so that's made me much more at peace with the things in my life I can't control, because it's all about changing what my reaction to those things are, right? And this is probably the best positive spin I can put on a circumstance. It's like, well, what am I gonna do? Stop moving, you crazy healthy people. I demand that you sit on your ass all day. It's like, no, it's super rude, and there's 10 inches of snow outside. Leave the poor guys alone. They're just trying to stay alive on this stupid planet. Get on that train. So I'm just saying that because I'm noticing that you probably can't hear it, but they're rattling the ceiling. So which probably means it's 7:20. I think they have a morning routine. I've made my morning routine coming online and painting assets, so I won't be able to vibe with them 100% for their morning routine, but they seem to do it like 4 or 5 times a day. I guess they work from home too. I keep trying to knock on their door and say hi, and they just never answer. So I've grown content that they are just some sort of phantom presence in my life, that they're not actually real people, but I'm not sweating it. Here, get rid of some of that wispiness. And then we'll come in here, and this is a slightly different method because I started. What did I start with? Nerp, nerp, nerp. Probably shouldn't have done it the way that I did it, but I did it. This is me exploring different ways to achieve the same end state. And I think I have a flaw in the color that I chose to use. But I am just going to go with it. Yeah, so I'm going to come back online later on. I'm going to talk about color magic paradigms. I am going to talk about a path I'm going with in designing monks for D&D is treating them like half-casters. So like I've been building out spell lists for them. Like Way of the Four Elements was the first one because the elemental magic paradigm is just begging for tap on tap burn spell point variant rule mechanics. So I did it, and but all the other types of monks have different type of key options. Like like I'm looking at like mercy and long death, and I think the astral self. I forget what it's called, but like having them. Bending, using like a mix of. I'm still playing with this, so don't hold me to this. But like a black, white, blue mana paradigm, where they're like the four elements leans into like blue, red, and green from a nature element sort of perspective, but like the soul astral sort of a approach instead would be white, black, and blue mana. So the four elements, I built out a list of 50 spells from across the different products to have as a prepared spell list, as opposed to like the 17 options that you have in the player's handbook that you have to learn. You can only learn one every 4 levels, so like at the end you only have 4 of them. Like that's ridiculous. Like a paladin has just as many class features and has a full set of spells and can learn 15 of them over the course of their, like, can prepare 15 of them and change them every day. And like the only reason a monk doesn't scale like that, or like a ranger, is because Wizard says so. Like, that's dumb. Everyone is like, the monk needs so much more, and it doesn't have it. What the hell? So the thought process there is, well, let's build out a full spell list for this monk, and each monk archetype has a different spell list. So like each monk is effectively becoming its own class. Like you have the monk chassis, and then depending on which half casting, which archetype you take, is going to be like the type of mana supply you have, whether it's like shadow key with like black and blue energy for the shadow monk, or like, you know, the four elements has the four elements, or has the three colors, yada yada yada, like martial mana for like Kinsei and Open Hand and Drunken Master having like white and red magic, and they all have their own distinct spell lists. It's like, if you're playing a Drunken Master, you're going to have a kit of spells that you can cast that the four elements won't, but it's going to be the same scaling. It's the same resource expenditure. Like, you look at the Ranger, like they get a kit of like 4 subclasses. Like, they get a dragon. They get a freaking dragon, and they get all the Ranger things that they get, and they get a full set of, they get a half casting set resource of spells. It's like the monk gets so much less. It's like, no wonder everyone hates the monk. Let's just make each monk its own unique half casting martial class. That's the project that these monks are. So that's on my workbench to do later. Like, this project right now is my focus, but one of my upcoming character class option projects is to finish out the rest of the monks, to make each of them their own half casting class. And so the elemental key book that I came out with, that's on DMsGuild now, has on the back end of it like general options, like any monk can do this. So that's like the chassis, and then the front end of the book. So the books are all basically made. I just have to change out the first 4 pages of each book, so like I can use the same format from the 4 elements, and then I can go and I can do the Mercy Monk, and I can just change out the first 4 pages of what is Merciful Key, and what are the spell lists that they have, and what are the alternate class features, and how do they change with the color mechanic, with the tap on tap burn mechanics that I have. So it's that's an example of me taking a chassis and then building larger class features out of it. So you'll be able to see that. That's one of my another one of my side pet projects that are in production that I'm letting percolate a little bit longer. Like the Kinsei is super different from that general format. I'm really excited about sharing my thoughts about the Kinsei and this half casting class system, because that is going to provide a lot of narrative about where martial powers is going. Martial powers is the other flagship that I'm building right now. Like tap and tap burn core mechanics is a flagship book. It's 70 pages of like dense alternate mechanic options, and martial powers is doing the same thing for all of the 7 martial classes. Basically building out mana cost options for like a barbarian to use, or for the ranger to use instead of spells, or for a fighter to use instead of taking Eldritch Knight, you could take martial power options and build out like the Arcane Archer. I can build the Arcane Archer from the new mechanics that I've built for through martial mana. So like you can take any archetype, or I could take like a Boros Swiftblade, which is a Magic the Gathering fighter card, and I can build that out into a full subclass using the different components of martial mana, and then I can key it to white and red mana, so that when you're using haste first strike, double strike, life tap. When you're using these abilities, you're going to be using your white or red mana to do so, and you're going to have an aggressive little fighter. You're going to have an aggressive little fighter on your hand who's going to want to kill angels good. So, like a Rakdos Flame Spitter can be something that you can build out using black and red mana to do necrotic and fire damage to your enemies as a rogue. And all the components are there inside the martial mana book to be able to do that. Like here's the different martial powers that you want to take. Instead of being an arcane trickster and taking spells, you're going to take martial powers, and you're going to build an aggressive little Rakdos monster to go catch people on fire and have some bravado while you do it. So that's the idea behind that book. And that's just another example of like, hey, let's build a toolkit that you can build infinite ideas out of. And then so like the runesmith fighter classes, I can build the runesmith out of martial mana. So that's going to be a hell of a book. It's probably going to be around 60 some odd pages on its own, and $10. It'll be you can use it with color or not, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. That's in the pipeline. That's probably later this year. I'm letting that one slow cook. I've got a team that's 15th level now, a ranger, an arcane trickster, and a druid that's using most of the alternate mana features that I built. Like they're using spell points, the color mana system that I use. And they've got a list of, like the druid and the ranger, they have their spells. But the arcane trickster is almost completely just martial mana with only a couple. Like he has Misty Hop, I think it's the only spell that he has at all. The rest of them are martial powers that he spends mana on. The ranger at this point has swapped out about half of his spells to be martial powers. And now the druid is wanting to get into some of the exploits, like blow a mana, gain a bonus to a die roll sort of stuff. Like dummy simple mechanics. Like it's going to be super obvious when anyone takes a look at it. It's like, oh yeah, this stuff just makes sense because it's stuff that already exists inside of the game. It's just being reconfigured into a mana format, like into a color mana paradigm, so that you can just you could build a Boros Reckoner, which is like a warlock paladin mix that just uses Eldritch Blast and can burn additional mana to supplement how that Eldritch Blast impacts people, which is just dummy thick. Super cool stuff. Super flavor. So that's going to be a fun book. But again, that's another example of a toolkit that I would. Ooh, that's kind of fun. I like these little speckles I just bumped into. Let's do some more of that real quick. And let's make That's actually pretty close. So let's grab this whole shroom here that we just built, and let's touch smaller. Yeah, like that. And how much time do I got left? I've got, oh my god, I've got 20 minutes. Holy crap. That's awesome. Okay, I bet I can build this next mushroom like in 5 minutes. So let me futz with this ground again for another few minutes here, and then I bet I'm going to be able to build this next one. Even if I'm rambling like a madman, I bet I'm going to be able to get this next mushroom done in 5 minutes. So it's 7:37 here in Seattle. I'm allowing myself another 2 or 3 minutes here of just scraping the ground. And then it is going to be go time, and I'm going to produce another full mushroom in 5 minutes. So we'll go from 7:40 to 7:45 and have a third mushroom on the board. Now I'm cheating because this third mushroom is probably going to be further back on the page. But we're not going to complain about that, are we? No, we are not. I'm going to drop some cast shadow onto this guy here. Healthy people doing healthy things. I'll be one of them someday. Someday's a better way of saying never. Shut up. Where are we at? 7:38? Okay, still got a few minutes. So I'm going to keep mincing around on this mushroom just for a few moments. There we go. That feels pretty good. All right, 7:40. It's go time. Let's build a mushroom. Lickety split. Five minutes. I got 2 minutes to make this stalk. So 7:41 already. I wasted a minute. Got a minute to make this. Let's see if I can get it done. 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 Gonna get it done. Gonna get it done. Done. Gonna get it done. Gonna get it done. Gonna get it done. Gotta get it done. Get it done. Work, push, push. Work, work, work. Push, push, push. Push, push, push. Push, push. Pushing pixels. Push, push, push. Pushing pixels. Push, push, push. There we go. Build my base. A little teacup. There, and then still 741, doing okay. Push, push, push. $742. Okay, pretty happy with that. Let's add in some line effects in here. Was it 743? Okay, cool. So now let's move on to our mushroom cap. Something like that. Push, 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 pushing pixels, push, 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 push those pixels. Where am I at? I'm off screen. Shit, coffee time. Coffee time, wasting my time. Oh, thank you. It's a very squat toadstool. Let's thin it a touch. Good. Here. We at 744. Ooh, shit, almost out of time. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. $745. I have less than a minute. Less than a minute. Less than a minute. Minute. Less than a minute. Ah, there, done. All right. So how was that? It's okay. Push this guy back a bit. Like that. Okay, now that I've spent that time, I can slow down and flesh it out a little bit so I'm actually happy with it. Let's do that. I pushed myself to see if I could get it done. I'm okay with the result. I think with that, I think I need just a little more time just to make it a little less sloppy. I don't think I'm happy. I'm gonna paint over all that. I am definitely not going to beat myself up for getting less done today because I started like at 5 something yesterday. So obviously I had allocated a lot more time to this task yesterday than I did to today, but I am still rather pleased with where I am landing with this project today. These mushrooms are fun. This is a fun project. I am tickled pink to be doing this. Now we can grab this. Drop it in here. Where we at? 7:53. Crap. Okay, I only have a few minutes left today. Damn. All right, stream. Not bad. Pretty pleased. Pretty pleased. I think I can probably come back and futz with this a little bit more. But for the most part, I'm happy with it. So I don't think I need to futz with it too much more. I mean, as far as like this is a rough. We'll see what the actual shape is I'll need when the actual illustration. When we actually build the page layout, we'll know how I need to fill the space and how I need to modify this further. But as far as just like a general proof of concept, I'm pretty happy with that. This is technically my day off. Technically on vacation, but I chose to give the man a pound of flesh. I'm considering fudging my time. No, I'm still gonna stop at 8. Still gonna stop at 8. Still gonna do what I said I was gonna do. It's important that I do what I said I'm gonna do in all aspects of my life, just so I can maintain my integrity. So here, so I'll just hard stop it at 8, which is in 5 minutes. So I got 5 minutes left to futz around with this thing, and then I'm gonna call it break. But then I'll be back later on today after I get the tasks done that I assigned myself for the day, even though it's my day off. I will come back on stream, and I'm going to build a video about color paradigms for Elemental Key. I'm going to build a short video. And boy, it's going to be as crappy as this one is. So, don't expect high production value yet. I'm just getting started. But yeah, I'm going to do something on color paradigm, magic paradigms for elements and color magic. And then I'm going to do a short video about prepared lists for monks as opposed to learned, and the value add involved with it. And I think there's another video or two I was planning on for. Well, I've got like 20 videos I'm planning on doing for the full array of content for the Elemental Key book. Like there's 12 pages of mechanics, and I think I can do like a 5 to 15 minute conversation, like design talk on each one of those pages. And like some of them, those like multiple class features that are on some of the pages, it's like I can spend 5 minutes on each one of those class features about like, here's the thought process that goes behind that if you want to implement it at your table or not. And I think that's a fun use of the YouTube design space, and then I can put them all into a playlist, and then include the playlist on the product description page. Like, here's some of the thoughts that go behind that, and see if it's something that you're interested in using for your own campaign or not. I like the idea of doing that. It's kind of a thought experiment right now, but it's something I'm going to follow through with just to do. And right now I'm just futzing with the ground here, and I've still got a few minutes, so I can futz around with the ground for a few more minutes here. But this is a very, 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 very slow outro. But then after I think I'm going to do 2 design videos today about Elemental Key. And then I'm going to, from there, I will be doing live stream for the character commission for Hashi's birthday that I've been doing in the evening. I'm going to do a daytime stream just so I can log in some serious hours. I've been doing that. I've been doing that character commission like at the end of my day before bed. But I want to give it some serious attention today and log in some real time for it. So if you find yourself not doing anything, you're certainly welcome to check back in what I got going on. I might actually need a few takes to get the design conversation right. So I might, but I'm going to do it all live on stream anyway, because I'm a wreck. And so I may be creating and deleting videos over the course of the day if I don't like the content that I built. But I'll be around, and tomorrow is a holiday for me, New Year. So I don't have any reason to log into the office tomorrow, so I can hit the ground running in the morning and stream. I'm going to make some serious ground tomorrow on the character commission, as well as some more Eberron art. I'll be doing a couple different videos, design talks. But yeah, I think I'm at 7:59. So this is my piece for the day. Now, which one is this one? This is the Emerald Tops. That's what these are called. Emerald Tops. Don't know if that's good or not, but that's where it's at for now. So we're gonna have to be content with it. We're gonna call it Emerald Tops. 1, 2, 3. And I still need to do like little polyps and stuff down around here. So I'm going to come back and visit this again tomorrow, before we dive into what's it called. The next one we're going to do is going to be the ferric ivy. Oh, I'm going to love doing ferric ivy. That's going to be cool. All right, so it is 8 o'clock. I am saving my work. I am ending my stream, and I am really appreciating y'all for showing up and letting me ramble on and talk about what I got going on. So I'm going to catch y'all on the other side. I'll be back in a couple hours, and I'm just going to start tearing through reality with y'all. So I'll see you then.